In this video, I'm going to share the cure for drifting. Check it out now. And I feel like this is such an important topic for dads. There are so many vices, there are so many distractions, there are so many things in life today that can knock us off track, can get us stuck in a rut, can have us in that pattern of drifting. And it just continues, right? A day becomes two, becomes four, becomes a week becomes 4 weeks, a month becomes a quarter becomes a year. And we just stay stuck in this place and we feel frustrated, we feel a little angry. And it's so important to stop that drift, right? And if you're feeling stressed, stuck in a rut, overwhelmed, no direction, know that it happens to all of us. We are all battling that 6 inches that's in between our ears, right? And so many times we get thrown off course, or even yet, we haven't been taught the proper tools, strategies, and tactics to stop that drift, right? To stay at a target, to continue to move the needle in our lives. And it frustrates the heck out of us. And I'll be very open, honest, and vulnerable. I spent decades of my life drifting, meaning I spent my 20s, my 30s, thinking I was going in a direction. When I truly take an honest look and look back, I was just drifting. I was half-assing most of what I was doing in my life. I was saying I wanted something, and then my efforts weren't following through in those commitments, those promises that I was making to myself. And I felt all the feels that so many people feel, so many dads feel in today's society, right? That anger, resentment, frustration, almost throwing up your hands in the air saying, hey, this is just the way life is. I say bullshit to that, right? I say there can be a different path. And one of the best books I have ever read, and I've read it multiple times now at this point, is Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read that book yet, highly recommend you read it, right? Get it on Audible, read the book, whatever you need to do. And it's amazing because the book is over 100 years old, but it still plays in today's society. And in the book, Napoleon says drifting without aim or purpose is the first cause of failure. Now, let me unpack that real quick because I love that sentence. That's why I put it in here in this video. Drifting without aim or purpose. I told you in my 20s and 30s, I didn't have an aim. I didn't have a purpose. I drifted. That was the first cause of my failure. If you're drifting right now, if you're stuck in a rut, do you have an aim or purpose? If you don't, that's the first cause of failure. That is a light bulb moment to have that awareness and to understand, hey, okay, this guy was talking about it over 100 years ago. Happened then. It probably happened 200 years before him. It will happen to the end of time. But we have the ability to make a course correction. We have the ability to make a choice to say, okay, if that drifting without aim or purpose is the first cause of failure, what do we need to do? We need to find an aim or a purpose so we stop the drift. This has been a game changer in my life. It's been a game changer in the dads I coach in the Warrior Dad Experience. And I'm going to share a little insight into what needs to be done from a stop the drift perspective. And I like to say we need targets. We need something to shoot at. That aim or purpose, those are our targets, right? Think about it. If you are going to throw darts at a dartboard, are your eyes focused? Do you look at that bullseye or that number you want to hit on that dartboard? You absolutely do. We need to have that laser focus. We have more inputs in 1 year of our lives these days, and inputs are text messages, DMs, emails, social media, likes, comments, all those things, right? We have more inputs in 1 year of our life than our ancestors 100 years ago had in their entire lifetime. Focus, Cal Newport says in his book, Deep Work, is a 21st century superpower. So we need targets, right? If you're shooting at that dartboard, are you going to have your eyes wide open, looking at that bullseye that you want to hit? Or are you going to operate eyes closed and trying to hit that dartboard? That's how we operate when we're drifting. We don't have a target. We don't have an aim. We don't have a purpose. So what do I recommend? I recommend implementing the 3 Ps to stop drifting. And I'll explain what each 3 Ps mean. They are targets that we can set: a target personally, a target professionally, and a target related to progress. When we have those targets, when we have those aims, when we have those purpose, it is very difficult to drift. Why? You know directionally where you're headed. So let's get into each one of those. Personal. Here's a picture of my 2 sons, my wife and I on a walk. Personal is something, some target you want to hit personally. Could be fitness, could be exercise related. So important to move the body each and every day. Could be nutrition. Maybe you want to eat a little bit better. Could be sleep. Maybe you understand that you're worn down. You want to get a better night's sleep. Well, set it as a target. If you just say, I want a better night's sleep, it's not going to happen. You need to be very, very intentional and set a target related to that. Maybe you haven't been out on date night with your wife for years. Set that as a target, right? Say personally, I'm going to go out on a date with my wife. Maybe it's a walk with the family. Maybe it's individual time with your kids. Set a personal target and then go after that target, right? Complete that target. When you complete that target, you will feel better. Why? Our confidence grows when we honor the commitments we make to ourselves. And many times that drift is we sort of make a commitment, then we don't honor it. And what happens is we spiral down. What happens is our confidence in ourselves to follow through on our word just continues to get eroded, right? So personally, so important to set a target. Then we got to do it on the professional side. You can have success, crush life personally and professionally. I've seen it in the dads that I coach. Too many times we've been led to believe, well, you can't have it all. BS. Who's telling you that? I believe you can. And I've seen it happen in my life, and I've seen it happen in the dads I coaches lives. All right, so professionally, what do you want to do? What's your target? What's your aim? What's your purpose? Professionally, if you're stuck in a rut in your career, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, business owner, you better set some targets. And you better dial those in on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. Otherwise, you will drift and you will stay in the same spot. And in 5 years, you'll look back and wonder, how the heck did I get here? Well, you didn't have a target, didn't have an aim, didn't have a purpose. Could be, hey, calling on prospects if you're a business owner or you're in sales. Could be some big meetings you need to hold if you're an entrepreneur and you want investors to invest in your business. Could be hiring new team members to take some of those tasks over that you don't necessarily want to work on. Could be presenting to an industry group, right? Big presentation. Hey, that's a great target to have. Hey, you're going to crush that presentation. That's fantastic. Maybe recording a podcast if you're a podcast host or you're a content creator, something of that nature. Having a target, having an aim, having a purpose from a professional perspective, so important. So those are the first 2 Ps. Final P, progress target. Now, I relate progress target is to something that you've procrastinated on. How many times do we say we're going to do something and we just put it off? We procrastinate over and over again. Progress. Just make some progress in these areas and you'll clean up spots in your life that are holding up capacity and holding up brain power for you to do the big things, right? It could be have a difficult conversation with someone. It could be clean out the closet, right? You've got clothes everywhere. You want to take them to Goodwill, clean them out, get rid of them. Could be, hey, like this guy, making a phone call, calling the doctor. How many people procrastinate on calling a doctor when they know they need to for a checkup, annual exam, right? Whatever it might be. Could be progress with being more intentional with your family. Maybe you've procrastinated on it. Maybe you've gotten distracted by your cell phone more and more. Hey, make that a progress goal. I'm going to be more intentional with my wife and kids tonight. Could be reading a book. Maybe you've had a stack of books that have been in your office for days, weeks, months, years. Hey, put a progress target. I'm going to read this book in the next 30 days. That's a powerful aim, target, direction to have in life. Maybe you're planning a vacation and you just put it off, it'll happen. Plan it out. Just make progress in those areas and you will feel so much better. So that is the third P. And how do you stop the drift? My recommendation to you now that you have this knowledge is implement it. Take action from it, right? I am such a fan of action. Action, action, action. You can course correct if things aren't right while you're doing it. What I've seen in the dozens and dozens and dozens of dads that I've spoken to, so many stay stuck. They stay in that drift because they want things to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. Just take action. You can adjust after you move forward, right? Implement those 3 Ps. You can do it on a daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, yearly basis. But if you're drifting, you have the ability to set targets, right? Without aim or purpose, that's the first reason for failure. Set targets, do that, and your life will change. And even better yet, as the tip of the spear for our families, the warrior dad for our families, we can share these things with our kiddos. That's how we change the family tree. That's how we're that one dad that changes his family tree forever. I appreciate you watching. Dare to be uncommon, love, lead, legacy, create a legendary day, and I'll talk to you soon.